Hi, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's ASU Master in Computer Science Admissions Live Q&A. I'm Diana Sunshine, and I'm on the Coursera team, and that works closely with the ASU team. First, I'd like to make sure that everyone's familiar with the Zoom interface. So if you take your mouse and you look and you scroll around, you can see that there's a navigation bar at the bottom. And if you click on the chat tab, if you could just type in that where you're coming in from today. We typically get a very global team of people that show up, and so we're really excited. So the first person has said hello, but let's get more people. Oh, Egypt, Texas, Scottsdale, Arizona, Mexico, Seattle. Yeah, this is amazing. So what I'd love to say is good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is on today's webinar. And we're very excited to give you some more information about the program. The other thing that I'd like to do is we'll do our first poll. So this is a way that you can see how the polling system works. So we'll right now launch a poll that talks about how did you actually hear about this program. And so you can see how you can just click on, and this is great. So people are doing it right now. Wonderful. So while the poll's going on, what I'd like to do is introduce you to our panelists today. We have Anita Chawla and Christina Sebring. I'd turn it over to you two.
Hi, good morning. So I'm Christina Sebring. I am an academic success specialist in the School of Computing, Informatics, and Systems Engineering, or SIDSE for short, at ASU. I'm the primary advisor for the MCS Online program.
Thanks, Christina. I'm Anita Chawla. I'm the Senior Director at EdPlus, and I work very closely with the Academic College on creation and delivery of this program.
Yes. And behind the scenes on chat, we have Nicole Plachecki. She's our Student Services Coordinator Associate, so she works closely with students who are going through the admissions process as well as our pathway students. All right. So Diana, did you want to, did we want to close out the poll, or are we okay to continue?
Yeah, we continued, and you can close out the poll.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so for today, we're going to talk about the MCS Online Curriculum and give you a little overview of what the program, so you know what to expect. Go over our admissions requirements. Talk about the prerequisite courses, which are related to the admissions requirements. Talk a little bit about what international students can expect from the process, just the general overview of the application process and deadlines, and then answer some of your questions live so we can get those answered for you. We did want to provide one little reminder about using the Q&A function at the bottom. If you type your questions in there as we move through the presentation, it makes it a lot easier for us to get through them and answer them near the end of the presentation. So moving on to an overview of the program. So our curriculum has advanced topics. We have blockchain, security, artificial intelligence, a lot of classes in big data. They're broken into 3 different areas. We have foundations, systems, and applications, as well as some elective courses. So students take one course from each of the 3 main areas, and then they choose a good grouping of electives from all the other courses that are available. And then while working through the program, they get to complete a lot of exciting projects, right?
So there's some good projects in all of these courses. Okay. So let me talk through some of those. For example, our Applied Cryptography course that we're releasing in the fall. Have you ever wondered how your data is secure when it's stored in a database? That really happens through encryption. And when the data is stored, it is stored in blocks. And so the encryption happens through block ciphers. And so there's a lot of projects around encryption mechanisms, how to break secure protocols, to give you a full understanding of fundamentals behind that. Another course that we have is data visualization. So in this era of big data, when you're trying to make sense of what that data means, we have a course that introduces you to concepts of data visualization and tools for it, and how you can see patterns and trends that will help inform businesses to make better decisions. Another favorite class of mine is the Scalable Data Processing class, which talks about big data concepts and introduces you to a concept of ER diagrams, entity relationship diagrams. And it teaches you how to create them, some of the normalization techniques, all these skills that are really important in your workplace. There's also a course called blockchain. And so in the blockchain course, we talk about what does a public blockchain mean? And then we have projects around how to create private blockchain components on top of that. So really making sure you understand the fundamentals of it. So all these courses have some really great projects, but these are applied projects, and they've intentionally been designed to help you in your workplace and help you with new challenges that you face in your work careers.
Okay, perfect. That sounds very interesting and a lot of variety as well. Yeah. So we also have a brand new concentration that's available starting this fall. So we're accepting applications right now in cybersecurity. So when students do the cybersecurity concentration, they really focus in on our security courses. They take 15 credits specific to our security courses, like applied cryptography, software security, information assurance, and advanced computer network security. And then they choose one more elective of their interest from our security courses. They can take operating systems, software verification, validation, and testing. And then the other 15 credits, they have to take the area courses I mentioned before, and then they can take a couple other electives if they're also interested in maybe the blockchain or some more data or artificial intelligence courses. So it's a really good opportunity for students who really want to focus on that cybersecurity aspect of computer science. So going into our program details, we do have 3 starts a year. We're coming up on our fall start right now. And then we also have a start in spring and summer. So when you complete the program, you'll take 10 courses, which equates to 30 credit hours. And then our culminating experience for this program is a project portfolio. So it's, as you mentioned, a project-based degree. So it's not research-based. So there's no thesis requirement, as some master's degrees require. So it's very project-based. The portfolio is really just a summary of the projects you did while completing your courses throughout the program. And you get to choose which ones you want to focus on in your final portfolio. The total cost for the program is $15,000, so that breaks down to $1,500 per course. And then we do have, ASU has a lot of financial aid options available. It is very much determined on an individual basis, so that would be something you would want to work directly with the financial aid office about, but there is assistance available if you need it. So moving on to our admissions requirements, this is a very popular area of how do you get in and get started in the program. So we do have a minimum GPA requirement of 3.0, and this is in the last 60 credit hours of your undergraduate degree, which is usually the last 2, so like the last 2 years. Not everybody uses that same terminology, but it is usually the last 2. Now, if you're listening as an international student and your degree was not completed on the 4.0 scale, don't worry, you do not have to convert that to the 4.0 scale. We actually ask that you list it on the scale that was used on your degree sheets or your transcripts, and then it's evaluated using that scale that's used in that country. Yeah.
So as an example, I got my undergraduate degree in computer science in India, and we don't use GPA, we actually use percentage, and a 70% is actually very good for the scale in India. So just enter the 70% or the 60% or whatever you got, because we know what that means. And don't try to convert that to a GPA.
Yes, yes. And then now we do have a math requirement. It is an engineering degree, so it is important to have a solid math background. So we asked for the equivalent of Calculus 1 and 2 in discrete math. Now, students coming from STEM degrees, science, technology, engineering, and math, have very likely completed this, even if it doesn't explicitly say Calculus 1 and 2. For instance, to use your example, a lot of transcripts in India say Math 1, 2, and possibly 3. So it doesn't explicitly say calculus, but it is learned in those courses. And then ASU does require official transcripts from all institutions you have attended. They are sent to our graduate admissions office. Now, you can apply with your unofficials, but they do have to be in a legible one attachment so we can see them all to be able to apply with your unofficials. And then you still have to send your official transcripts once admitted. So you still will need to send them, but we allow you to apply with your unofficials because we know that it can sometimes be a bit challenging to get your official transcript sent and can be time consuming. So that allows you at least to get through the admissions process before you have to send that. We also ask for a personal statement or a resume. You have the option to upload both if you want to, but it's also fine if you only upload one or the other. And then there is an application fee. It varies depending on if you're a U.S. student or an international student. So there's a little bit of variance on there. And it can range from $70 to $115 for the application fee. The program does not require GRE or letters of recommendation. So if you've been working in the industry for a while, that eases that step a little bit, so you don't have to find recommenders. Now for our international students, we touched on this a little bit when we talked about transcripts. You do have to provide proof of English proficiency, and ASU does have a page dedicated just for this that kind of outlines what the requirements are and what the exemptions are. So like if you are a U.S. resident or U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, you're not required to provide English proficiency. Or if you've already completed a few credits in the U.S., you do not have to provide proof of English proficiency. One thing is our program does have slightly higher requirements than ASU in general. So like, for example, we require 90 on the TOEFL test, just to provide an example for that. But we do encourage you to visit the English proficiency website just to check into the exemptions and what exactly they require at the university level. You do also need to provide proof of visa. So if you're a U.S. citizen, we will need a copy of that. Now, if you're living outside the U.S. and you're not planning to come to the U.S., there is an option when you apply where you'll select JN, which just means international, not coming to the U.S. That allows your application to move through the process without that visa requirement. And we do have options for getting your transcripts here. Our MCS online website, which we're going to give you that link in just a little bit, has a really well built out FAQ section with a good portion of international student questions that can help guide you on how to get your transcripts here. We also have a wonderful enrollment team who can provide you with some other options and some suggestions for getting your transcripts to ASU. Do you have anything to add for international students?
Yes, I do know transcripts are very difficult to get. So especially if you have your degree from India, there is a service called True India, True India Copy, that will actually help you with the transcripts. And that's all listed in the FAQ. And so the whole point of allowing you to start the program with unofficial transcripts is with the understanding that it will take you some time to get us the official transcripts. But definitely check out our website. We have a whole wealth of information on transcripts and different options that are available to you.
Yes, and we have students from all over the world, so yes, we definitely try to work with you on this. So continuing in the admissions requirement, all students entering our program do need to have what we call prerequisite knowledge, which is knowledge in some topic areas that will ensure that you will be successful in our graduate level courses.
And this prerequisite knowledge previously needed to be demonstrated through college credit on a transcript. But in our mission of access and knowing that we want to provide access to this great program to anybody who wants to be in this program and is aspiring to be in, we changed the model for the prerequisite knowledge demonstration.
Yeah, so the 4 areas we ask for you to have knowledge in is computer organization and assembly language programming, data structures and algorithms, operating systems, and then either principles of programming languages or theoretical computer science. So either one of those, which on international transcripts sometimes is programming paradigms, compilers, formal languages, things like that for that last requirement. So moving on to what we changed as the model, we now have short non-credit courses available that for students who have not formally taken these courses, this is a really good option for them.
And these courses are actually on demand and they're available. If you go to our MCS website, there's a link there that will take you straight to the courses. The courses are really built to be a refresher of fundamental knowledge. So you can take them at your own pace. They have knowledge checks, and then there's a final exam that's proctored, and you must score 80% or higher in the final exam to show demonstration of that prerequisite knowledge. And so for people who've had degrees in, let's say, mechanical engineering or math, and they've been working in the IT industry for a while and have learned that knowledge, but don't have college credit on a transcript, they can enroll themselves in these prerequisite courses, go through the course, and if they get 80%, they would basically meet that prerequisite requirement. Now, we do give you 2 attempts to take the final exam to get that 80% or higher, but if after the second attempt you don't get that 80%, then we do require college credit on a transcript. Now, what's also important is that, as Christina alluded to, you may have taken some of this material in your undergraduate degree, and so we would encourage you to first apply And then the admissions team, which is chaired by Christina, will determine what prerequisites you actually need. And then you can go ahead and just take those prerequisites. So we do encourage you to first apply.
Yes. So, and just to elaborate on that, it is really important to apply because sometimes the course titles don't always match one for one. And we do evaluate a lot of international transcripts. So there is a lot of, we have a good bank of knowledge and reference points for evaluating. You also have the ability to upload course descriptions when you apply, which can also assist the admissions committee in trying to evaluate that application. But then once it's evaluated, you do receive a follow-up email letting you know that maybe you need to take some of these prerequisite courses or what the next steps would be. And that way you know exactly what you need to take to be eligible for admission. So it is definitely recommended to go ahead and get that application in so you can get that evaluation. Yeah. So this is a really good option. We do already have students completing it. We have 3 courses available right now. We have computer organization, operating systems, data structures and algorithms, and we have principles of programming languages planned for next month. So they'll all be available very, very soon. This actually might be a good opportunity to elaborate that you can also, we would allow you to start the program if you're only missing, let's say, that last one that's not yet available. It is possible that the admissions committee will still deem, after evaluating your application, that you can go ahead and start the program, but we're still going to request that you complete the course. So that's also still an option, which is why we encourage you to apply so you can get that evaluation. So another option we have available, because ASU is all about making sure that our programs are accessible, is the Pathway program, which you're also very familiar with. So what this is maybe you don't quite meet the 3.0 GPA criteria that's a really good example of what a lot of students in the Pathway are doing. So what you can do is you can take 3 classes as a non-degree student at ASU and demonstrate proficiency in graduate level coursework by earning a 3.25 GPA. By doing that, you establish a high graduate GPA, which would then qualify you for admission. Those credits you complete can then be applied to the program once you are accepted later. So you don't lose time, but it kind of allows you to earn your way in with the GPA. You can also demonstrate English proficiency this way because if you complete 9 credits at a graduate level with grades of B or better, that satisfies ASU's English proficiency requirement. So that's another good option for it. We also have a few students who might be working on their prerequisites and maybe want to sample a graduate course or 2 who do that. That's also an option. I guess just proceed with caution because you still do need that prerequisite knowledge to be successful in the classes, but it is an option for you if you want to do that since it's a non-degree plan. Did you have anything to add for the Pathway?
Yeah, the Pathway definitely is, as Christina said, another way to get into the degree program. And again, in our mission of access, because ASU prides itself on that, we are providing this option to you because there is another way to get into the degree program as well. And as Christina said, the 3 courses that you take in the Pathway are actual courses that degree students take as well. And so you are sort of already kind of working towards that path of the degree, but it is important that you get 3.25 or higher in the first attempt on the 3 courses in the Pathway.
And that if your application gets evaluated and we think that this might be the option you need to go, that's actually what the admissions committee will recommend. You'll get an email back encouraging you to pursue the Pathway first before doing the degree program. So that's, again, definitely a good idea to apply first to get that evaluation. So we've talked a lot about the application process. So there is a link to directly apply. You can access it right from our MCS Online website, but we also have a direct link available. So it's just links.asu.edu/MCS-application. So you can type that right in and it'll take you right to our graduate application. You would go through the application, pay the application fee, and you'd send any documents you need to send to our graduate admissions. And that's the application process. Our deadline is coming up. It's July 26th. So just a little bit over 2 weeks away. So definitely, if you're planning to apply, go ahead and get that application in as soon as possible. Now, we are going to try to answer as many questions as possible that we can this morning. But, if you have maybe a question that's very specific to your situation and you want to talk to somebody, please contact our enrollment team. They're wonderful. They're here to help and guide you through the process, answer your questions. So you can email them if you prefer, mcsenrollment@asu.edu. We also have a toll-free number. So that's 844-353-7953. So you can call them and speak to them directly. We also have a very well built out website. We have course outlines, a lot of FAQs that we've collected and answered since the program launched. So that's really well built out to help answer your questions. So you can get to that just by links.asu.edu/MCS. And then, of course, we do encourage you to apply. But I know we're getting ready to transition to questions. So I guess if you have questions, go ahead and use that Q&A function and begin typing them in.
And we have 3 commonly asked questions on the screen there.
Yes.
So let's go through those 3 questions before
Okay.
we take questions from students.
Yeah, of course.
So the first question, Christina, is, are letters of recommendation required for admission?
So they are not. They are optional. So you're welcome to submit them if you want to, but they are not required. Yeah.
And how do you calculate scores on international transcripts?
So we do, again, we ask that you enter them exactly as they appear on your mark sheets, and then they're evaluated based on the scale used in the country where the education took place. So that's really important. So they are not converted, I guess is the important takeaway here.
And the third question, does my IT experience count? It doesn't count directly towards credit,
Yes.
but the prerequisite course option that we've given you is an option for you to show your IT industry experience, that you understand those fundamentals, so that you're eligible for the degree program.
Right. And those CPA courses will help fill in that classroom theoretical component, right, that might not be present.
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. All right, then.
Well, this is great information. So just remind everyone, if you do have questions, please put it in the Q&A. And we're going to launch our second poll right now, just to let everyone to understand how interested people are in this program. While people are responding to the poll, I'll talk about the first question we have. And this is from Ahmed. And he's wondering, what is the study period average time for the program? So how long does it take somebody to get through the program typically?
So, okay, so there is a lot of flexibility in the program, first off, which I guess we did not mention, but our classes are in 7.5-week sessions, and we have 2 sessions per semester. So that equates to 5 sessions per year. So if you take 1 course per session, you can complete the program in 2 years. It is also possible to go a little bit faster, a little bit slower, depending on your other life commitments. So there is some flexibility available in that.
And also, we understand that you all have challenging schedules. Most of the people in our degree program are working professionals. And so the lectures are not live, they're recorded.
Yes.
And you can pace yourself during the week within the class. And so that's a very important component of the program. In addition, you may not necessarily have to take a class every session, but you do need to take a class every semester. Is that correct?
Every
Christina?
fall and spring semester.
Every fall and spring semester. And so let's say you took 1 class, and then in fall B, you have this huge deadline at work and this project that's going to consume all your time. You can decide not to take a class in fall B and then come back in spring A, which starts in January. And our program started in fall of 2018, and we have students graduating in fall of 2019.
I actually have 1 graduate this summer, and then we have some more who are, I would say, 100% online students who will be graduating in fall. So we do have students graduating already in fall, so about 1.5 years. Yes. One other thing I do want to mention, because you mentioned the working professional, we do have a lot of students who are working full-time doing this degree. And so we do recommend, if you're working full-time, to take only the 1 class per session, because the time commitment per week is about 15 to 20 hours, depending on the course. So we do recommend that if you're working full-time. Just it's a little bit more manageable pace on top of a full-time job and possibly even families.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So Ahmed had another question, was, does this program include a thesis, or is it a non-thesis master's?
So this program is a non-thesis master's, so it's very project-based. So you do a project portfolio at the end as the culminating event in place of a thesis. So there is not a research component to this degree.
Excellent. Okay, so Michael is wondering, is there any entry test required, like for example, like a GRE or anything like that?
No, we do not require a GRE or any other type of standardized test.
Cool. Somebody else is asking, would the word online be included on the diploma or degree certificate?
So that's a great question.
Yes.
And so what's important about the degree that we offer here, it is exactly the same degree that is offered to our on-ground students, the same courses, the same syllabi taught by the same faculty.
Mm-hmm.
When you graduate, it will say Master of Computer Science. We do not denote the modality in which your degree was awarded. And I know that's an important concern, especially with international
Mm-hmm.
students. Your degree certificate will say ASU Master of Computer Science.
Mm-hmm. And it is not notated on your transcripts either. I get that question quite a bit. It is not mentioned that the classes were completed online. So it just lists the course, the semester, and the grade.
Excellent. Okay. So somebody is asking about the examinations, right? That if you wanted to take some of those, I think it's the prerequisites and you have to pass the exam. What is the fee for those examinations?
So the prerequisite course, once you enroll, it's $59 for one attempt of the course. And when you're taking the exam, you will be proctored. So there's instructions within the course that talks about the proctoring process. Now, when you talk about fees overall for the degree program, the price that Christina mentioned is $15,000, inclusive of everything. We don't add extra fees. The only additional fee will be the application fee to the program.
Excellent. Okay. The next question from Wang Shu is, can you talk a little bit about the different concentrations in the program?
So right now we have our general Master of Computer Science program, and then this fall we are launching our Cybersecurity concentration. So that is the only 2 concentrations available now, official concentrations where your degree would say that you specialize in cybersecurity. But that said, we do have a lot of courses available in data science and some courses in the artificial intelligence. So you could still specialize your degree and choose to take courses in those areas to specialize your skills as you leave the program. But cybersecurity is the only official concentration available as of today.
Excellent. Okay. Pranav has a question of what is ASU's rank among U.S. universities?
So ASU has several ranks. We are number 1 in innovation.
Yes.
But when it comes to all the graduate programs and employability, all of that is available on asu.edu/rankings. And you'll see all the rankings of all the different programs within ASU. And you'll also see specific call out to the graduate program, which includes the Master of Computer Science.
Excellent. Michael's wondering if these slides will be available after the webinar.
So that's a question for you.
That's a great, yeah. So we are recording this webinar and we will be sending it out with a link so people can review it. But we also should set it up so that we will email all the registrants a PDF of the slides. I think that would be great. So we'll get that done within the week. Okay.
Thank you, Doug.
Yes, of course. So someone is asking, are we allowed to take more than 10 credits?
I think they probably mean 10 courses throughout the degree. So yes, you can take more if you want to. 10 is the minimum that's required. But if you want to take additional courses, you absolutely can. That's completely up to you. But the minimum is 10 courses to earn the degree.
Excellent. And then somebody was asking, can I apply if my GPA is too low?
Can you apply if the GPA is too low? Yes, you can still apply because, in fact, we do look at that junior, senior, that last 2 years. So, for example, let's say a student maybe had a little bit rough start to their college career their freshman year, and then they recovered very nice their last 3 years. So that junior, senior GPA actually might be higher than the final GPA. So that's why it's important to apply and get that evaluation so we can tell you officially that whether you can go right into the degree program or if you should maybe do the pathway first.
And then if their GPA is deemed too low, they still can take the pathway, right? And prove that they can do the work. So anybody should apply if they're interested and feel that they can handle the master level work.
Yes.
The one thing I want to just call out here as well is that you do need a 4-year undergraduate degree.
Oh, that's very important, yes.
And we know a lot of international students have 3-year undergraduate degrees.
Yep.
So to get that 4th year, what do you normally recommend to your applicants?
So they do need to complete another year of coursework. We know that can be challenging when you're international, but they do just need another year of coursework somewhere to be able to qualify as that 4-year degree.
Would any of the pathway classes qualify for that 4th year or not?
Yeah, unfortunately, no, because you have to be a non-degree graduate student at ASU, you have to have the equivalent of a bachelor's degree, which is that 4-year degree requirement again. So it would be something that would have to be done if you're internationally, potentially in your home country.
Got it. Okay. So the next question, this is a good one. What programming experience is required for the program? This specific person has a BS in electrical or in mechanical engineering. Would I be able to succeed in the program without a BS in CS?
So that's a really great question. And at the beginning of every course, we do mention what are the programming languages required. Primarily, most of the classes require project submissions in either Python or Java. So if you're thinking about applying to the program, this is a good time to start brushing up on those skills. And I would do it in the order of Python first and then Java second. There are a couple of classes that would require C, but it wouldn't be C programming over many years. It's just basic C language. But the Python and Java, you would need to have some experience in those 2 languages.
Great. Somebody is asking, is it possible to convert from the online program to the on-campus program?
Yes, it is possible, but a new application is required whenever you're changing from an online campus to an in-person campus. Our on-campus admissions requirements are slightly different. For example, the on-campus program does require the GRE and letters of recommendation. So slightly different requirements to move on campus. But it is possible. 12 credits can move with you since they were completed at ASU. So it is definitely possible if you want to start online and then apply and transition to the on-campus program.
Perfect. Okay. So Omar has a question that says, even though the prerequisite courses are self-paced, is there an average time that students take to complete them?
That's a great question. So for the students who've already taken the prerequisite courses, and you may go to a module and you may find that it's material you already know and you might just quickly scan them, but there might be another module where you really need to spend some time on the material. The average has been about 25 hours per course so far. And again, that can be taken over the weekend or at night, depending on your work schedule. Once you enroll in a course, you do not have to complete it within 2 or 3 weeks, and so that's where the flexibility is. So if you've already applied and got your decision on what prerequisite courses you need to take, now is a really good time to start working on them.
Just to clarify, Anita, they are completely self-paced. And once they start, they can take as much time as they need to go through it.
That's correct.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So there is a question that says, what if you take the 3 courses as a non-degree student, the performance pathway, and you don't get the 3.25 GPA requirement?
Oh, that's definitely a difficult question because we do require that 3.25 demonstrated in the pathway in order to qualify for admission. So it is necessary to earn the 3.25 in the pathway to be eligible for the MCS program, especially if you were completing the pathway because your undergraduate GPA was too low. Yeah.
But also when you finish those pathway courses, you still get an ASU transcript.
You do.
And you could take those courses to another university, but we really hope you get that 3.25 and come join us at ASU.
Yes.
Perfect. So Vikram is wondering, can I take a break for 1 semester and continue the degree courses or the degree?
Yeah, so there are academic processes in place, like we talked about. There's a lot of flexibility with sessions. So I've had a few students, like Anita said, maybe they do session A and not session B. So that's always an option, based on your schedule. But if you ever need to take a full semester off, there is a leave of absence process at ASU that I would actually be the one to guide you through that if that's something you need to do. So absolutely, that's a possibility.
But once you start in a course, you do need to finish it within 7.5
The course, yes.
Yeah. So we just wanted to make sure we clarify that as well.
Yes.
No, that makes total sense. Yeah, so the degree you can take breaks during the degree, but within a course, you have to complete the course.
Correct.
During the, yeah. Okay, so another question, I think you may have answered this, but we'll ask it again, which is for the courses that are taught in this online master's program, are they the same courses as the on-campus classes?
Yes, they are. So they have the same curriculum, same instructors. The only thing that is different is the mode of instruction and the length. Our on-campus classes they follow the 15-week schedule. So these, our online classes are considered accelerated since they follow the 7.5 week. Yes.
And that is why we encourage you to take just one class a session.
Yes.
Got it. So Hussein's asking, how do you assess people during these courses? He's assuming there's kind of exams and homework, but can you talk about the assessments?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the courses are actually, the grading is determined by the faculty. So there might be homework, well, we call them practice exams or homework. There's also midterms, finals, or projects. So at the beginning of every course, there's a syllabus posted that talks about the weighting of all these items towards your final grade. Every course is slightly different because it does depend on the faculty member. But there might be a course where the project determines 30% of the grade and there's no final exam. Or there may be a course where you have a few projects in there and each project is maybe 10% of your final grade. So it's course to course.
Perfect. Michael has a really good question, and I'm going to read it specifically how it's written. It said, when we get the degree, do we get graduation robes mailed to us? I assume we don't walk.
So you can walk. It is absolutely an option you can come to Tempe and participate in the commencement ceremonies if you want to. There are related graduation fees and you have to purchase your own caps and gowns, but you absolutely can come and attend and participate in the graduation ceremonies here in Tempe.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you, Ron's asking, are you able to give an example of project that is due at the end? For example, a fully operational app or something similar, or is it a culmination of courses? This person just kind of wants to, like, an example of what a project would be like.
Yeah, so depending on the topic, there's so many different kinds of projects. There's one course that actually asks you to write the basic code for an app to determine concussion diagnostics. And so how do you input that data? And then how do you transform it? And then how do you provide an outcome? So there's a little bit of sprinkling of that. Other projects also include, for example, analysis of geospatial data, another trending topic. So this project actually uses Apache Spark SQL to help analyze geospatial queries, which is so important in big data and is a newer concept. And then as Christina mentioned, you could take these projects and create your culminating project portfolio that you could showcase to employers if you're looking for a career change, or if you just want to build your portfolio to put online on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. The next question is, if somebody completes the MCS with the ASU online, can you pursue a PhD afterwards?
Yes, you can. So it is a master's degree. So the gap might be because the MCS degree does not require any research. There might be a bit of a learning curve in learning how to do academic research, which is a primary requirement of a PhD program. But you can absolutely pursue a PhD after completing the online Master of Computer Science. In fact, for example, our PhD program, which can vary, of course, by school, we allow you to apply up to 30 credits, with approval from an earned master. So that actually could give you a good head start, if you will, into a PhD program.
And then there's a question about, is there a lot of writing involved?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Because I do know, so I just want to mention again, these are applied projects. So again, it's about the ability to program and use those skills in the workplace. And that's why this is very important that we highlight the project types that are included in the courses.
So the next question is, are there weekly discussion boards required in most of these courses? It's kind of a broad question, but I'm assuming that it's kind of like, what are the other types of ways that you can communicate with your classmates and stuff and other technologies?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear you, Diana. So yes, all the courses have discussion forums, and every project that's in the course has its own discussion forum thread, because it's very important that you collaborate with your colleagues in the class, lean on each other for best practices. And the other terms of collaboration are, some of the courses have group projects where you're assigned group members. And so there's other forums to communicate, like Slack, with your team members and do these delivery presentations online for that course. So it's very important that you network, not just be enrolled in the course and take the class curriculum, but also get to know your colleagues and learn from each other as you work through these projects.
Yeah, and I mean, our students are actually very active on Slack, both in just like casual chatting, the team collaboration, other things like that. So that looks like a very well-used tool for this online program where they can interact with one another.
Excellent. So we have a question now about online career services for students. Are there any services? And they were most interested in like checking resumes, mock interviews, stuff like that.
So this is an ASU program. So when you're admitted to an ASU program, you get access to all of ASU's resources. So you have access to both ASU career services as well as Fulton Engineering specific career resources. So they have a very well built out website. I mean, you can do mock interviews and resume review. So that they don't help with job placement, but you do get access to Handshake, ASU's Handshake, so you can see job postings and all of those materials. We have online career fairs, things along those natures. You have access to all of that. And then when you graduate, you are part of ASU's alumni network as well.
Excellent. Eric is asking, can we put our projects on GitHub and make our projects part of the open source library?
So that's a very interesting question. You can apply the learnings from your project and use it and put it on GitHub, because that's what GitHub is for. But taking the exact project and putting it on GitHub, there's a little bit of academic integrity, because future students who take this course, if they find your project submission, they may just use it as is. And so we would definitely not encourage you to do that. In fact, when you submit your projects, we have secure ways for submissions of your code. For precisely that reason, is that we just don't want to make it available to the open public.
Excellent. Well, it looks like we've got most of our questions answered. If anyone else wants to put some questions in the Q&A, we can answer them. But so far, everything's been answered live, as well as, somebody's typing in financial aid. So I know you guys probably already talked about financial aid, but do you want to talk a little bit more about is there financial aid available? How does it work?
So one thing to note before we go into financial aid is that this program, the online modality, is less than half the price of the on-ground version. And we intentionally lowered the cost to make it accessible to you. But it's still an ASU online, ASU degree program,
yes.
And so we still have financial aid options, even on the $15,000 price point for the program. Yeah,
so I would encourage you to visit the ASU's financial aid website. Nicole can probably place that in the chat for you to make it a little bit easier. ASU.edu/financial aid. All of our URLs are usually point you pretty simply to review what's available to you based on your student situation. Like there's graduate students, there's some information for international students, things like that. So I would encourage you to visit that website and check into the options listed there.
Excellent. Okay, so now that people knew that there is more questions to be asked, I have a few more that we can do. So there's one that's, I like this question. Is there any kind of meetups or on-site or live networking opportunities or events that'll be happening?
So we do have career fairs.
Yes.
And so people are welcome to attend in person as well. All of that information is listed on our career website. We do have people that are in the online program, especially if they're from within Arizona or California, that do attend these career fairs. And then the next question is, where can I find out more information about the cybersecurity concentration?
Yeah.
We do have that information available on the website as well. So we can probably get that direct link out to you as well, that directs you right to the cybersecurity requirements. Again, it is still 30 credit hours. You still complete the area, and then about half the degree, 15 credits, is specific to cybersecurity courses. So we'll get that link back out to you. And it wasn't, the degree plan was also listed earlier in the presentation, so you'll have that when the presentation is sent out.
Great.
Question is, are all courses always available at every semester, or only certain courses at every semester?
So we do not offer every single course every semester. So very much determined on enrollment, instructor availability, the development cycle. There's multiple factors to consider.
And when you try to enroll in your course, you will see what's available that session as well. And the syllabi for these courses are already posted on our website, so we do encourage you to visit our website. And the other question we also had is, does the online courses require high-speed connection? So I would say that our videos are not too large, and we've chunked them intentionally because we understand that in some places of the world you may not have high-speed internet connection. So you don't absolutely need top-of-the-line internet connection, but you definitely do need internet connection to be able to progress in these courses. And the other question I had is, and this is an important question, I have a question about immigration status. If I'm currently on an F1 with another school, can I enroll in the MCS?
So as an F1 student, you cannot be in an online program. The F1 visa specifically requires that you're in an in-person program, attending classes in person. So unfortunately, no, this would not be a program for an F1 student, unless you are planning, of course, if you were planning to return home, you could, of course, attend the program from there, but not in the U.S. on an F1 visa.
And then we had some other questions that came from the chat. Somebody said they have a bachelor's degree in information technology. Would they be eligible for our program? And as long as it's a 4-year degree program from your home country, yes, you would be eligible. And again, for English proficiency requirements, please do check our website, because there are some exemptions for English proficiency that are listed over there. Now, I've got a couple of questions about discrete math. What if they haven't taken that course before and they would like to take that, or if they don't have calculus? So on our website, we have the math courses that you would need, and I would definitely call the MCS Enrollment Center. You have the contact information. There are a couple of class options that are available to you to be able to take that math requirement, but definitely follow up with our help team. The other question is, somebody wants to enroll in a PhD for computer science. Could they do that getting the MCS degree with ASU?
Yes. So if you get the MCS degree from computer science, you could then apply for the PhD in computer science. Because it's an ASU to ASU, if you have the grades B or better in the MCS, those classes can apply toward that later PhD program. So absolutely.
Now, there are a lot of questions about students telling us about their background and asking if they're eligible. Again, we would encourage you to apply. You will get that evaluation, and you will be provided a decision from the admissions team if either the degree or the pathway is the best option for you.
And you do hear back. I think that's an important and unique thing about this program. You do hear back with some recommended next steps, whether it's taking the prerequisites or pursuing the pathway program.
And then, Christina, do you prefer a personal statement and a resume? What is your preference in the application?
Truthfully, either or. Either one is fine. I do get questions frequently about what is a personal statement. And that's basically why you want this program, what you hope to learn and get out of it, what your long-term goals are. So that is the personal statement. It doesn't have to be long. It can be very short. But it is truly either or. So if you want to attach both, please feel free to submit both with your application.
The other question is, when do you have to declare a concentration?
So the concentration, you actually do pick that when you apply. So when you apply, you decide, I want to do Master of Computer Science or Cybersecurity. Now, it is possible to adjust that later. That's something that I would work with you on once you're admitted to the program.
And then Sierra is asking if the MCS pathway courses are free. No, it's the same course as that a degree student would take. So every course is $1,500. And so to complete the pathway, you would spend $4,500. Please note that when you're in the pathway, financial aid is not an option for you.
Because it's a non-degree program, yeah. But you are, just to add to that, the pathway courses, you are earning academic credit and grades on a transcript. So they're the same classes you take while you're in the degree program.
If you have questions on prerequisite courses, again, there's our enrollment team can help you answer those questions. The other person asked, well, if my application evaluation says I have 3 prerequisites complete, can I still start the program without having the 4th prerequisite?
So if you would likely, in that situation, it's hard, that's kind of a hypothetical question. If you are only missing one of the prerequisites and everything else in your application, is okay as far as GPA, and you have the bachelor's degree in English proficiency and all the other factors, you would actually likely receive a positive message advising you've been admitted and that but you need to complete that prerequisite course within 1 year of admission.
And the couple of last questions that we have is that if I want to apply for the spring 2020 term, and let's say I apply in December 2019, how long does it take your committee to make an admissions decision?
So our admissions decisions are actually issued pretty quickly. I'd say we're right around a 2-week turnaround at this point. So we're very quick with our turnaround. We will have spring deadlines though. So if you apply after those deadlines, you may be considered for the next enrollment cycle. So again, for this cycle, for fall, it's July 26th. So make sure if you want to start in fall, you apply by July 26th. But you can certainly go in and apply for spring right now if you want to.
And the question is there a late admission, especially for this fall? So you just answered that.
Yes.
You should apply by July 26th, at least get your application in. If your transcripts take a few days after that, we will still accept them and review them. But we will complete all admissions decisions probably about a couple weeks before class starts?
Yeah, I'd say early August.
Early August. And our class starts on August 22nd.
Yes.
So I think,
guys, this is great. You got through all the questions, so congratulations. Everyone can see that there's all of the contact us, follow-up questions, how you can get anything else answered through email, through phone, online. We definitely recommend that everyone just start your application now, because Christina and her team will get back to you if there's any questions they have, or to get back to see if you should do a pathway or take some of the prerequisite courses. So is there anything else that you guys would like to add right now?
No, I guess just to reiterate, if you're interested in the program, please submit the application, even if you're, unsure about prerequisites or GPA, and get that evaluation. And then you can get started on your next steps, or, be admitted and get going on the degree program. So we encourage everyone to go in and apply.
Excellent. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day or night. I saw that there are a few people from China, Hong Kong, Somalia. And so I have a feeling there's some people who are up in the middle of the night right now. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.